Alright everybody, welcome to Pillars of Eternity. Now, I have never played Pillars of Eternity, but if you guys saw I think it was the Xbox show, a game called Avowed is being worked on by Obsidian, and apparently it's in the Pillars of Eternity universe. And so I kind of want to get caught up, and I know they're long games, both of them, and then they have DLC as well. So it's going to take me a while to finish them, which is good, because Avowed probably isn't going to be coming out until like 2022 at the earliest. So, what is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got both DLCs installed, so we're gonna go with new game. So, we got a lot of difficulties. So, story time, obviously, that's mostly just gonna be story, easy. Normal. The normal difficulty requires strategy and efficiency, but forgives a few mistakes in combat. It is not recommended for newcomers to real-time party-based RPGs. Really? Normal's not recommended? Okay. You have hard. Let's see, Path of the Damned. Enemies receive a bonus to most stats, and encounters have many more enemies. Can't be changed in-game. Expert mode, and then Trial of Iron. Only one save file is kept for the entire playthrough. If the player is killed, the file is deleted, and you must start again. Okay. We're gonna go normal. I've played Mutant Year Zero, and I think so far that's the only like top-down turn-based thing. But this does say real time, but I know you can pause it, so I'm not the biggest fan of real time. I like turn-based, but I gotta turn subtitles on as well. NPCs with gold nameplates were designed by our backers. Interacting with them will allow you to experience each one's unique history. Oh, that's cool. And now that Obsidian and In Exile are...
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
That was cool. Okay, so we're gonna be character creation, but I was saying, now that they are with Microsoft, they won't need any more Kickstarters, I guess. So we'll see what they can do from there. Yes, we will be male, because I am a male. Male. The place of men in society varies from culture to culture. Cultures like Adir and the Direwood place them at the forefront of military, politics, and heavy labor. Among the tribes of Nasitak, men perform many of the homesteading and organizational duties. In Ire Glanfath, and Examinal, Men and women have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and men can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. So, Direwood, a colony nation founded by settlers from the Aedir Empire. Following a series of conflicts with Aedir, the territory became independent in 2672 AI and is now ruled by a duck, who is elected by 7 earls that oversee its earldoms. I'm sure it's not an actual duck. Air Glenfeth, a territory comprised of the forest southeast of the Bale River, populated indigenously by a group of loosely affiliated tribes collectively known as Glanfathans, and governed by a council of its 6 most powerful tribes. Air Glanfath is home to a large number of ruined Angwithan sites, with Glanfathans which they hold sacred. The ruins have been at the center of a number of large-scale conflicts with Direwooden colonists, whose settlements often encroach on Glanfathan territory and who frequently seek to plunder the ruins of their relics. And we have female. Let's see, they have a woman's role in Aora is largely dependent on where she is from. In the Aedir Empire, Valian republics, and Direwood, women occupy many domestic, educational, and organizational roles. They are the primary hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes of Nesitik and Air Glanfath and Exemital. Women and men have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule. The women can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. So, Valian republics. A mercantile power and former colony of a larger, more ancient nation, Old Valia. The republics lie to the south of Direwood and Air Glanfath, and are ruled by a duck elected by the Consugli Asagia, a council of 14 ducks, including its 5 most prominent, the ducks' bells. I wish that was another word. Sounds funny to me, but we're going to be male. Okay, so we could be human. Humans, commonly called folk, are the most common race in the Direwood, the Aedir Empire, Old Valia, and the Valian republics. Though not as large as the towering Amawa, humans are known for their strength and willpower, so you have +1 to might and resolve. So because I am pretty new to games like this, pretty new, I've never actually played one like this. Like I said, Mutant User is the closest, and that one's actually pretty easy compared. So I'll be reading everything. Resolve. Resolve reflects the character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. Okay. So will and deflection defenses. Might. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as the fortitude defense. So obviously the human is best if you're just going for a straight, I guess, melee playthrough. Almawa. Are they... I wanted to say cat-like at first, but they kind of just look like humans, just bigger. Amawa. The mighty Amawa are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. Oh, really? Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rautau, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength, so they get +2 in might, instead of the humans get 1 might and 1 resolve, so if you want melee, that's the way to go, I guess. Dwarf. Man, that face is not a great one. By virtue of land covered and number of colonies settled, dwarves are the most well-traveled race in the world. They are commonly found in the Direwood, and Valian republics in almost any colonized land. Dwarves are known for their great strength and tenacity. So 2 mights, but -1 in dexterity, which dexterity is an abstraction of a character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. So because they're short and stout, probably, if you put a realistic thing to it. It can be used for sleight of hand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed with all attacks, spells, abilities, and contributes to the reflex defense, so they get -1 in that one. And then +1 in Constitution. Constitution is a combination of the character's overall health and stamina. Okay. Although it is not used much in interactions, it is sometimes checked to withstand pain or endure a physically taxing ordeal. In combat, it affects maximum health and endurance and contributes to the fortitude defense. Elf. Elves are the dominant race in Air Glanfath, and the white that wins and are extremely common in the Direwood and Aedir. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as a commonly isolationist nature, so they get +1 to dexterity. Dexterity is an abstraction of a character's... oh, we already read that. And +1 to perception. Perception represents a character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details in interactions. It can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy, the reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. So far, I'm liking Elf. Let's see, Air Glanfath, a territory comprised of the forest southeast of the Bale River, populated indigenously by a group of loosely affiliated tribes collectively known as Glanfathans, and governed by a council of its 6 most powerful tribes. Air Glanfath is home to a large number of ruined Angwithan sites, which Glanfathans hold sacred. Wait, I read this. Yes, I read that. Okay. Orlin. Ooh, they're like a cat-like elf. Orlins are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies, Orlins are commonly found in Air Glanfath, the Examinal Plains, and part of the Direwood. They are known for their mental intensity and sharp senses, so they get +1 to resolve, -1 to might, but +2 to perception. So that one actually is pretty good. The might is the only thing. And godlike. Oh my goodness. What's going on there? Godlike. The godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, though some do not consider it a blessing. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. So they get +1 to dexterity and +1 to intellect. Intellect represents a character's logic and reasoning capabilities. In interactions, it can be useful for deduction, sudden realizations, and problem solving. In combat, it contributes to the will defense and influences durations and areas of effect for all abilities and talents. Ooh. So between godlike and elf, dexterity and intellect pretty good. They get dexterity and he gets perception. See, I like perception. But I like intellect as well. See, I like the accuracy part, because if I end up using like a bow, Bonus to intellect. Godlike. Because it's so kind of odd, I've never seen it, I kind of want to play as a godlike. Oh, we have different kind of godlikes. Death godlike are the most distrusted of their kind. Strange growths cover their eyes, or in some cases entire face, giving them a sinister appearance. The growths are transparent for the godlike, but opaque from the outside, hiding their features. Death godlikes are commonly killed at birth because many cultures consider them to be harbingers of doom. Death's Usher. When death godlikes attack an enemy with 25% or less endurance, their damage is increased. So death. On certain difficulty settings, if a character is reduced to 0 health, he or she goes down and is either maimed or, if already maimed, killed. A dead character is killed outright and cannot be brought back. Damage. There are 8 damage types in Pillars of Eternity: Slash, Pierce, Crush, Burn, Shock, Corrode, Freeze, and Raw. Damage types are used to determine how easily a target resists damage of that type based on their damage reductions. A creature or suit of armor may be very resistant to one type of damage but quite vulnerable to another. Some weapons or attacks may do multiple damage types or list an or between their damage types. When an or is listed, the attack will always do the damage type that the target is most vulnerable to. Raw damage is the only damage type that ignores all damage reductions and is generally associated with poisons and similar effects. Fire godlike. Ooh, look at that guy. You can at least see his face. It's like, what the hell? The bodies of fire godlike often resemble hot metal, burnt wood, or stone, with harmless flames that erupt from the cracks in their skin. Fire godlike are objects of both reverence and fear in the Deadfire archipelago. Many locals believe they have the power to awaken volcanoes, or that killing one will cause a volcano to awaken. In the Direwood, fire godlikes are often seen as a sign of the blessing of Magrin, goddess of war and fire. Battle forged. When reduced below 50% endurance, fire godlike glow like metal in a forge, gaining damage reduction and doing a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee. So Magrin, goddess of war, fire, transformation, purification, consumption, and trials. Patron goddess of the Direwood, thought to have blessed the god Hammer Bomb that destroyed Waidwen and possibly Eothos. Okay. Damage reduction. Okay, so damage will never be reduced below 20% of the initial incoming amount when this minimum. Okay, so that's what I thought it would be. Okay, so Moon Godlike. Ooh, that actually looks really cool. Moon Godlike are the most tolerated of the godlike, while their skin tone and a large moon-like growth on their foreheads may be strange to some. Their appearances are generally considered more palatable by the other kith. Sailors have many beliefs about moon godlike and their propensity to bring luck, though there is little agreement as to what kind of luck they tend to bring. Silvertide, every encounter, when reduced below 75%, 50%, and 25% endurance, moon godlike generate waves of healing moonlight that restores endurance to them and their allies. So far, moon godlike sounds like the one you'd want to be. Nature godlike. You know, not the worst of the 4, but not the best. Nature godlike appear to be a fusion of human and animal features, often covered by plants, moss, or fungi. This has led to the common stigma that they are diseased, and many are killed at birth because of it. Many druidic orders have a keen interest in nature godlike because of their general curiosity as to how souls occupy animals, plants, and stones. Wellspring of Life grants a bonus to might, constitution, and dexterity when endurance is below 50%. So, might. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as the fortitude defense. So I like the Moon God-like Silver Tide effect, so. And I like the look as well, it's pretty cool. Body type. Okay, so human, Omera, dwarf, elf, Orlin. But there's no godlike body type, so I guess we'll just go with human. Class, ooh. Okay, so they automatically have a class of fighter, I guess. But I think we can choose a different one. Okay, so barbarian. Brutes, madmen, berserkers. Though city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect, these rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places the undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. So your starting ability, Carnage. When barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks at all other enemies within a short distance of the target. Okay. So once you hit somebody, all the attacks from everybody else that hits is reduced. Within a certain distance. They get athletics +2. Adventuring is tiring work. In addition to the hazards of mortal combat, adventurers have walls to climb, rivers to cross, and pits to leap over. Once per encounter, characters with athletics can use the Second Wind ability to recover lost endurance. A higher athletics score increases the effect of Second Wind. In conversations, the scripted interactions, athletics is used for physical feats like climbing, swimming, and jumping. Okay, survival gets +1. Survival allows characters to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they camp. The first 6 ranks grant the following bonuses. Damage reduction, received healing multiplier, bonus movement, accuracy bonus versus creature type, increased consumable duration, bonus damage versus flanked enemies. After the 6th rank, the previously earned bonuses become more powerful in the same order they were received. Survival can also be used in conservations and scripted interactions that involve wilderness challenges or specialized information about nature. So survival actually seems very handy. Yeah. Then endurance 48 plus 16. Dash level. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So very high. 6 endurance, very high. Oh no, wait. Health is 6, endurance is very high. Accuracy 25 plus 3, whatever level you are, I guess, is average, and deflection is 15, which is low. Barbarian doesn't seem that bad. Chanter. Or cantor. In every culture across Europe, there are cantors. Many historians consider cantors to be the most ancient workers of magic. Their hallowed phrases stirring the collective memory of wayward souls around them, compelling them to generate magical effects in a kind of reenactment. In some societies, cantors form organized groups of storytellers and researchers, but in most parts of the world they are just a time-honored part of local folk tradition. Starting abilities, phrases, or chants. Okay, so they are chanters. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects and help build a chanter's power until they can use an invocation. Invocations. Powerful magic effects that chanters can create after they have spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. So they get lore +2. Lore represents a character's accumulated miscellaneous knowledge of trivia, often of occult or esoteric topics. Outside of conversations and scripted interactions, lore is used to activate scrolls. Higher lore values allow the character to use higher level scrolls. +1 to mechanics. Traps and locks can be a problem for even the toughest adventurers, draining their resources and maiming or killing those who are unfortunate enough to trigger an unforeseen floor plate. The mechanics skill makes it easier to open locks and find the disable traps. Okay. Additionally, any character can use the mechanics skill to place traps of their own. The higher the mechanics skill, the more accurate the trap. In conversations, the scripted interactions mechanics can be used to activate or disable a variety of machines. So, very low endurance, only 4 health, low endurance. Oh, it says endurance low, I don't know. Average accuracy and high deflection. So I don't think Chanter is something I'd want. Cipher. A recent discovery in the Eastern Reach, ciphers were once called Brishelgwyn mine hunters by the Glanfathans. Ciphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche using an ally's or enemy's essence as the focus for their magic. Though most ciphers are still found in the Eastern Reach, practitioners of the techniques have spread throughout the known world. They are gaining acceptance over time, but are generally distrusted, especially by the uneducated. Starting ability. Powers. Ciphers can directly target allies and enemies with powerful soul-focused effects. These powers cost focus, which ciphers build through the use of their soul whip. Okay. Stealth 1. Stealth allows characters of any class to attempt to avoid being seen or heard. It is used automatically whenever the character is in scouting mode. The higher the character's skill, the closer they can get to enemies before being detected. Lore 1, Mechanics 1. So, lore seems useful if you're just like a magic character. Very low endurance, low health, average accuracy, and average deflection. So, Cipher seems cool, but not very useful. Druid. Animists are at heart. Druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things of Ura. Plants, animals, and sometimes even living stone. While not necessarily religious, Druids do have a reverence for the natural world and a keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, Druids are understood as a sort of primal magician, but among the Glanfathans, Nesiteke, and many rural cultures, they may have high positions of influence and authority. Starting abilities. Spirit Shift. All druids have mastered one animalistic form. These forms give the druid strong melee abilities and grant an additional power while the druid is shifted. Spells. Druids have access to a variety of offensive and some support-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, druids automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast at a limited number of times per rest. As druids gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. A per rest ability can only be used for a set number of times before running out of uses. For example, an ability that has 3 uses per rest may only be used 3 times. To regain these uses, the character must rest. Okay. I assume the same thing for per encounter. Yeah. Okay. +1 on lore, +2 on survival, so survival seems very good, but endurance, health, and accuracy is very low. Deflection average, so druid or barbarian so far are the ones I'm looking at. Fighter, which is originally what they had us at. Fighters form the front line of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach, though they are most commonly found in cultures with an organized martial structure. Fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types of cell worlds. The common element that unifies fighters is their heavy focus on endurance and melee defense. Starting ability, constant recovery. Fighters continually regenerate endurance at a modest rate during combat. Okay. AM +1 on athletics, lore, and survival. Average endurance, high on the health and endurance. Very high on accuracy and very high on deflection. So yeah, fighter's a good starting one, especially for someone like me, I guess, who really hasn't played these. Yeah, monk. Fight with their words, I guess. Monks belong to a variety of fighting orders that have sprung up in Examiddle and the Eastern Reach over the past few centuries. While many monastic orders can trace their teachings to the enduring founder, TTAC, individual organizations vary greatly in their focus, morality, and ethics. Common folk respect their incredible discipline of monks, but see them as an odd, unpredictable bunch who may not be entirely sane. Even mercenaries and other adventurers aren't sure what to make of them. Starting ability, Transcendent Suffering. When monks have no weapon equipped, their unarmed attacks are exceptionally powerful and continue to increase in damage as they gain levels. Wounds. As monks are damaged, their pain generates wounds. Wounds can be used to power many of the monk's special abilities. So these are stealth, athletics, and survival. We already read that. Average endurance, very high health, very high accuracy, and high deflection. So you're like a melee brawler right there. Paladin. Paladins are martial zealots devoted to a god, a ruler, or even a way of life. They can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies and mercenary companies, but in the heat of battle, their fanaticism often overrules the chain of command and common sense. Starting ability, Faith and Conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all of their defenses over the course of the game. The value of this bonus may shift based on the reputations the paladin gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her order. 2 in athletics and 1 in lore. Average endurance, high health, high accuracy, average deflection. Priest. Priests are devotees of Ura's deities and practitioners of religious magic. While all priests dedicate themselves to specific gods, priests' power is actually derived from their personal beliefs. In contrast to most paladins, priests tend to focus on philosophy, teachings, and relationship of religious organizations with common folk. The reception of priests in any given part of the world depends largely on how their god is revered or reviled by the people who live there. Starting abilities. Holy Radiance generates a modest amount of endurance for allies around the priest. Any enemy vessels caught in the area take burn damage and may be frightened. Over the course of the game, the power of this ability may shift based on the reputations the priest gains. So same thing as the last one. Spells. Priests have access to a variety of support and some offense-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, priests automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As priests gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. So 1 athletics, 2 lore. Low on everything. I wouldn't be a priest, paladin, or monk anyway. Ranger. Okay, here's the bowman. Rangers are warriors of the woodlands and masters of the hunt. Always partnered with soul-bonded animal companions, they can be found in wild spaces all over the world. As their lifestyles often tend toward independence and isolation, it is rare for rangers to become an integral part of a large fighting force, though they are often employed as scouts and guides. Starting ability, Animal Companion. All rangers share a strong bond with an animal companion. The companion fights at the ranger's command and is extremely valuable for its ability to run interference. Animal companions don't do much damage, but they have high damage reduction. The link between the ranger and companion is powerful. If one goes down in battle, the other suffers as well. Ooh. So damage reduction. When an attack hits, there is one primary means of mitigating damage. Damage reduction. Damage reduction value is usually derived from armor, but many creatures have natural DR, or can raise it through the use of magic, abilities, talents, or other equipment. Damage reduction is subtracted direct. Oh, okay, so the animal is good for if they have an armor of 20, they hit for 7, it brings it down to 13. They start 1 with stealth and 2 in survival. Like I said, I like the survival. Stealth is always good as well. Very low endurance, unfortunately, but high health, very high accuracy, and an average deflection. So far, I like Ranger and Fighter. We got Rogue. Rogues are vicious killers feared for the brutality of their attacks. They can be found as often in dark back alleys as the heart of the battlefield skirmishes. Though unpredictable and undisciplined, rogues are commonly used as shock troops or as part of a surprise assault. Their withering attacks, breaking enemy ranks and morale. Rogues tend to congregate in larger numbers in cities where they can be steadily employed as mercenaries or hired muscle. Shock. Okay, that's a damage. So their ability, Sneak Attack, applies bonus damage to the rogue's ranged and melee weapon attacks when the target has any of the following afflictions: blinded, flanked, hobbled, paralyzed, petrified, prone, stuck, stunned, or weakened. It also applies to any target the rogue strikes with a weapon within the first 2 seconds of combat. So they get 1 to stealth and 2 to mechanics. Low in endurance, health, and deflection, but high in accuracy. Rogue seems pretty cool, but the ranger, I like that you start with the animal. Wizard. Look at that big ass book. The masters of academic magic, wizards are students of arcane traditions that stretch back beyond the boundaries of recorded history. Wizards are a highly organized group, often forming academics or guilds devoted to research and development in magical studies, and tend to favor environments where inquiry, experimentation, debate, and the dissemination of knowledge are encouraged. Many accomplished wizards eventually become known for their eccentricity, their egos, and their unquenchable interest in all things arcane and occult. Starting abilities: Arcane Assault, mid-range attack that hits a small area of raw damage and can leave targets dazed. Spells: wizards have an access to a variety of offensive and personal. Oh, we already read about spells. They get lore 2, mechanics 1, low on literally everything. So I think I want to start with Ranger because they start with the Animal Companion, and that does damage reduction, which is pretty cool. Ranger abilities: Wounding Shot or Marked. Okay, so Wounding Shot. As he or she would with fleeting prey. The hunter aims for a spot that will slow the target enemy's progress, hobbling the target and inflicting raw damage. Okay, so raw damage over time to it. There are 8 damage types. Raw damage is the only damage type that ignores all damage reductions and is generally associated with poison similar. Okay. So it ignores basically the armor and stuff. So 2 per encounter, 8 per gotcha. Average speed, range is 6 meters, interrupt 0.5 seconds. Interrupt determines how likely a damaging attack is to delay their opponent's current or next action. Okay. Effects: target, if successful, hobbled for 10 seconds. Accuracy versus fortitude. User primary attack, 5 to 8 crush. Accuracy versus deflection, 100% damage inflicted over time. It's for 6 seconds. Marked prey. Designates a single target as prey, giving the ranger and animal companion a damage bonus against that target. 1 per encounter. Average speed 20 meters. Okay. Affects foe target marked for 30 seconds. I wonder how much of a damage bonus, because that seems pretty good. Ranger abilities focus on granting additional offensive abilities to the ranger, increasing the power of their animal companions and strengthening the link between the ranger and the animal companion. I liked Marked Prey, because that helps with the animal and the person. Animal companions, ooh. An antelope companion. Animal companions have naturally... sorry, I bumped my table. Have naturally superior defenses, deflection, fortitude, reflex, and will. All rangers form a strong spiritual connection with a single creature, their animal companion. This connection allows rangers and their companions to coordinate attacks and efficiently take down prey. In most situations, the companion runs interference while the ranger attacks at range. Despite these advantages, there are risks to the relationship. Rangers share a literal life bond with their animal companions. When one is wounded, can sense it, or I think they meant they, can sense it and feel intense emotional pain. If a ranger or animal companion are knocked unconscious, the partner suffers from bonded grief, affecting accuracy and other stats until the downed ally is revived. If a ranger is ever killed, the animal companion immediately dies from grief. It's very sad. Passive, average speed, affects summon antelope companion. So they get defenses, superior defenses. Bear companion have unusually high damage reduction, so that would be good since they do damage reduction mostly, giving them superior protection from all forms of damage. So that one could be pretty good. Boar companion. Commands inflict more damage when they are below 50% endurance. I don't really like those. Lion. Ability to terrify enemies with a powerful roar. Stag. Melee attack that does damage to all enemies in a small area around the main target. That one seems pretty good. And wolf. High damage and can more easily avoid disengagement attacks. I'd be between wolf, stag, and bear. I think I'll go with bear. Animal companion name. I don't know. I had a dog named Bear. He was amazing. Let's see. We're a moon, so we'll name the bear Pluto. Because bears are big, Pluto's tiny. You get it. Alright, so our attributes. Attributes define a character's basic mental and physical strengths and weaknesses. They modify many gameplay statistics and are often used to unlock options in conversations. Character creation allows you to choose which attributes your character will emphasize, but spells and items can further modify your attributes during gameplay. So we have 15 points we can spend, and we can lower these as well. So Might. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. Highly recommended for Ranger, which we are. I guess that's why they have it as gold. Yeah, okay. It can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as fortitude defenses. Okay. Let's go 2 with might. Constitution. I forget you don't need to click these. Constitution is a combination of the character's overall health and stamina. Although it is not used so much in interactions, it is sometimes checked to withstand pain or endure a physically taxing ordeal. In combat, it affects maximum health and endurance and contributes to the fortitude defense. I feel like it would be good to go at least 2 on here as well, just to get us some more health. Dexterity. Dexterity is an abstraction of a character's hand-eye coordination balance and overall grace. In interactions, it can be used for sleight of hand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed as with all attacks, reflexes, and abilities, and contributes to the reflex defense. Recommended for Ranger. Dexterity 10 plus 1 godlike equals 11. Oh, that's why it started out at 11. Oh, these are the ones that the godlike got extras on. So let's get that to 12. Perception represents characters' sense of, as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details in interactions. To lie. Okay, so recommended for Ranger. Whoops. Go to intellect. Plus 6% area of effect, plus 5% duration, plus 2 will. We'll just go up 1. And then resolve. Resolve reflects the character's internal drive, determination, and fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. Which is... deflection and defenses are 2 different things. Okay. I feel like it's good to have 12. Let's everything at 12, and then we have 5 more to do. Let's go 1 extra that are good for Rangers. And then this last one. It contributes to the will defenses and influence durations and areas of effect for all abilities and talents. Yeah, this helps everything. So I might go with that one. Yeah. Hope I'm spreading these out nicely. I don't know if I'd don't need anything at all. Should I keep this at 10? Okay, so concentration, that's for spells. I feel like we're not going to use very many spells, because I want to be he's a ranged person. So we'll keep this one at 10. And this has accuracy, which is good for ranged, I'm guessing. Then reflex, to dodge out of the way of physically harmful AoE attacks. Okay. Plus 9 on interrupt. Dexterity. I guess we can go 2 more on Constitution because that's our health. Okay, so what is this? Oh, that's sorry. So I guess right culture, yeah. Aedir. The Aedir Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. Though the empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world, Greater Aedir is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven nations. Gets resolve +1. Deadfire Archipelago. Look at that big ass bow. So what does he have? A tiny bow and a big ass bow. Consisting of the nation of Nasitak, dozens of Amara settlements, and hundreds of lawless, pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern sea. Deadfire is home to Boroldors, Amara, and a mixed variety of other races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monster sea creatures infest the ocean beyond, making travel virtually impossible. +1 dexterity. Examinable plains. Oh, I like that. Armor. Located to the northeast of Aer Glanfath, the Examital Plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by human and Orlan residents. The Examital culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past several thousand years, and you get +1 to resolve. Old Valia. Some nice chainmail there and a crossbow. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remnants of an empire of warring merchant nations, counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks. The Old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. +1 to intelligence, so far Old Valia is what I'm going for. Rautai. Dominated by the Amara nation of Rautai, the Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Amawa, Orlan, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the east. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them. Though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. Constitution +1. The Living Lands. Ooh, that one looks nice. The Living Lands is the mountainous region of a large northern island, renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable, and its ecosystems vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races and a variety of colonial and independent settlements. That gets might +1. I like the description of that one the most. The white that wins. A large cracked southern expanse of polar ice, the white that wins, is home to pale elves and small colonies of large explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the white, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. You get perception +1. Let's go with Old Valia so we can get that +1 to intelligence. Background. Man, there is a lot to this. One video is just character creation, I guarantee it. So, aristocrat. You've lived your life amongst the nobility. Your days have been marked by lavish meals and extravagant parties. Your conversations peppered with talk of pedigree and bloodlines. You get lore +2. Colonists. You were part of a group that founded a fledgling colony in a distant land. Survival +2. I like survival. Drifter. You never quite fit in, no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place to rest briefly before moving on to the next. You are more comfortable on the road, traveling the world. Stealth and mechanics +1. Laborer. Your life has been spent in the study of your craft. You trained and prepared, hoping to hone your skills and ply your trade. Mechanics and athletics +1. That would be pretty useful so far. Although survival, I like that. Merchant. You've traded goods from all over the world, pairing items with buyers of all kinds. Lore and Mechanics 1. Artist. You've always felt driven to express yourself creatively. The structure and rigid control of other pursuits has never satisfied in the same way. Lore +2. So this one and Aristocrat get lore +2. So these are just basically like, what do you like? You know, and I like that. That's pretty cool. Dissident. You've made a name for yourself as a troublemaker. Disrespect for authority and a lack of care regarding the rules are recurring themes in your life. Stealth and lore 1. Hunter. You live for the thrill of the chase, whether for glory or for sustenance. You have made your living taking the lives of wild creatures. Stealth and survival +1. So far I kind of like Hunter. Mercenary. Blade in battle is your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapon and applying force. Athletics and lore 1. Slave. You have never known freedom. Shackles and chains have bound your existence, and someone has told you what to do your entire life. Athletics and survival 1. Kind of like Hunter. We'll go with that. Appearance. Okay, so this is our armor right there. Kind of like that red. Secondary. Red and black. Head appearance, facial hair. Oh, we can't have facial hair? And we can only have 3 heads. Makes sense. I actually really like that one. Ooh. This head's fine and all, but I actually like these two better. I like this one. And voice. Oh wait, portrait. 20 of 99, Jesus Christ. Well, we kind of want to be faithful to what we are, I guess. That's probably why they put us at 20. Oh, wait. That's us, but it's a lady. Ugh. Sorry for all the clicks, by the way. Oh, here we go. So yeah, it had us already at the godlikes. There we go. Now voice.
Yeah?
Now I am the leader of the group. Ah! Quietly now.
I was gonna say, I couldn't tell much from that.
Follow me.
Let's go!
My eyes are peeled.
That's a weird one.
Ready when you are. I'll lead the way.
Let's keep quiet.
Wow, they have a lot of voices.
Yes, I shall lead us.
Yeah!
Oh, these are female. Okay.
I'll take a peek. Hey there.
I mean, smooth.
Now I am the leader of the group. A blade in the dark.
I like Sinister though. I'll just go with my first name. Yeah, why not? Okay, I hope this works out. I think that's gonna end this first video. So, character creation. I hope I did good. I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed the first video in Pillars of Eternity. Hope I see you for more. Bye.